Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of I saw some photography equipment online and I just bought it without thinking about it, so now I'm gonna make it your problem. Today's topic is GT Photo GT24, a 35mm color film with 24 shots at ISO 400. So this film is being advertised as a retro color film, and despite the fact that pretty much any retailer you could possibly think of sells this stuff, it's pretty difficult to find content or information about this film online. Well, I thought since I bought a roll I would just take you along on a little photo walk. We're gonna shoot the film, I'm gonna show you the results, and we're gonna talk about what is this and is it worth buying. So I bought this film on Amazon and I bought it when it went on sale for a few days. I got this roll for just €6, which is a pretty good price for color film where I live. But when I was researching this film, I saw it in some online shops for like insane prices, being sold at Portra prices basically. So why does the price vary this much, and how much should you actually pay for this film? How much is it actually like worth? Is it any good, and who manufactures this stuff? When I was researching this film, I saw discussions online about who could possibly be the manufacturer who made this film, because there isn't actually that many companies in the world who make film. And I saw people speculate it might be Kodak, which I don't believe. I saw people speculate that it might be InovisCoat, a company here from Germany. That's why I also have a roll of Wolfen NC 500, a film manufactured by InovisCoat, as you can see right here. So maybe we can make some comparisons there. It doesn't say InovisCoat on this roll, but let's see if we can maybe find some information about that. Let me just explain to you what I'm doing out here. It's really beautiful. I wanted to go up on the mountains today, but as you might be able to see if I pan you back here, there's a lot of fog on the mountains themselves. Actually right now it might be fine. You can actually kind of see them, but earlier today there was just zero view up there, so I decided to shoot down here instead. Well, anyways, what you're doing, initially I thought I would just shoot the roll of GT Photo GT24 here on the Canon AE-1 and just take some pictures, look if they look any good, and just try the film. But I thought, because of how similar this film is to the Wolfen NC 500, and because there's speculation that it might be made by the same manufacturer, I'm just going to load up my roll of Wolfen NC 500 into the Voigtländer Vitomatic 1 and try to do my best to shoot the same pictures in both. Maybe we can kind of compare them. I'm trying my best to have the settings the same and the framing roughly the same. I'm shooting on different cameras though. I'm shooting both on 50mm lenses and I'm putting the same shutter speed and aperture, but there might be some differences, but let's see, maybe this works out, and if it doesn't, at least I'm shooting more than enough pictures to make sure that I get some nice pictures of this really beautiful place. Damn. Wonderful. Let's get this bad boy. Nice. Whoa. Some of that snow falling down. Really beautiful. How about we start with a little unboxing? Let's get this film out. Black canister. Let's have a look. Here it is. Note, kind of brown color here, and then this greenish color on the back. So let's just have a look at this stuff. Way nicer packaging already. But let's have a look at the actual film. Get out. Here it is, and now I just want you to have a look at this side, brownish color, and the back green. Let me show you on the main camera as well. Front and back. Oh, die Hütte da mit den Bäumen. Das ist die Vision. Ja. So. Warte. Okay. It makes like no sense to try to compare film stocks out here, because other than the occasional like red hut like this one back here, the only color we have out here is white. So it's not like we're gonna be able to compare the colors of the different films, because it's all white anyways. Also, I'm kind of struggling with exposure because my plan was to just shoot on the Canon AE-1, which has the light meter that tells you which aperture you're supposed to use. Maybe just shoot shutter speed priority and then let that camera tell me what aperture I need. Then just put the same settings onto my Voigtländer camera. But because of how bright it is, because it's all just snow, so it's all just basically purely white, my Canon wants to shoot at f/22 at all times. Because it thinks it's just all so bright, but it's just the snow. But it's kind of a struggle, and I wanted to come down here because where I live there isn't really any snow, and I wanted to photograph some snow this year. So I thought, let's come down here, shoot some film in the snow. But then I realized I have no idea how to actually shoot film in the snow, like how to expose film cameras in the snow. So I'm kind of just shooting with the settings that my digital camera is using, because I kind of trust that light meter more. And just hoping that that's gonna turn out nice on film as well. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing, basically. Let's hope everything goes as planned. Oh, Eiszapfen. That's gonna be hard to focus on. Yeah. My light meter is just telling me everything's too bright. But how would it know? Ich glaube, das hier irgendwie. Ja, das hat natürlich gar keine Ahnung, was es tun soll hier. I'm so happy to finally have like some darker tones in my shot with this water and those trees. Finally my light meter on my camera gives a somewhat accurate reading how I should expose all of this. But still, I'm hoping, I mean, I can't really review this film based off these pictures I'm taking out here, because I'm pretty much guaranteed to be exposing them wrong. Also, I have to make sure not to fall while I'm talking. But yeah, these pictures probably aren't properly exposed for what you would actually do shooting film in the snow. I'm not entirely sure. I think you're just supposed to like overexpose the snow, not expose for the snow, but I'm really also struggling to find other things to expose for. I tried taking a reader with the light meter of my smartphone, spot metering to something that's not snow, but that's pretty hard to find, and even then I'm feeling like I'm kind of underexposing my shots a little bit, which I guess is fine, should give a bit of a high contrast type of vibe to it. But also, if this is the film that I'm expecting it to be, if this is InovisCoat film, then I know it doesn't really handle shadows and high contrast scenes too well. Also, I'm gonna take a picture of this. But yeah, that's why I'm kind of worried that everything besides the snow might be underexposed, and if it is, then I don't think this film is going to be able to handle underexposed images well. So let's hope I don't do that. Right here I don't think it should be too hard to actually tell. Yeah, I think shooting this at f8 should be fine, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So I don't even know why I'm making... What am I even doing out here? I'm just taking pictures. We're just shooting them film, having fun. Let me grab the shot and continue. Found just the smallest amount of color right here. So let's shoot that. I'm sorry that this outro doesn't look as pretty as the intro did. Ever since I started working on this video, a lot of things happened in my life. Good things mostly, but it is very chaotic right now, and I'm just trying to finish up this video and then figure out my stuff and hopefully get to producing some really cool content very soon. Anyways, let's talk about the pictures I've taken in this video and about the films. And this is the point where you're welcome to comment as well, because of course I can only compare the GT24 film to the films I've shot personally, which isn't too many. I've only been doing film photography for a bit less than 2 years now, so it's not like I'm an absolute expert, and it's not like I know all of the films. So if you think that this looks similar to something you've shot before, let me know. Comparing the film to NC500 though, I've shown you the film before it was developed, and now I'm going to show you the film negatives after they've been developed on a light table, and you can see how similar this film looks. And I'm also just going to put a Kodak film next to them, just so you can see why I don't think this is a Kodak film. But despite the fact that the film itself physically looks very similar, there is some differences in the pictures. So first of all, the GT24 film seems to be a lot less contrasty than NC500, and it just has less total range overall. That's the case both in the lab scans you're seeing in this video made by Khrome lab in Hamburg. I also did some of my own scans just to see how both of these films behave when they're being scanned, and there, when converting the negatives, the histogram on the GT24 film is just a lot smaller compared to NC500, so there's just less colors, just less tones in there. This results in this kind of weird grayish look that we're getting, and I'm not a big fan of that, I have to say. Colors are different as well. NC500 has this very typical blue look to it that I personally like. I know many people don't like this really blue look out of NC500. I personally like it, but I guess that's subjective. But it's typical NC500 blue stuff. GT24 does look different, especially in the shadows and in the darker parts of the image. You can see how it is a lot more red compared to NC500. I'm not a big fan of the colors on GT24. I think Wolfen NC500 looks more colorful and more pleasant. That's because I personally like this blue look, I guess, but I don't really think these kind of weird reds look any good. Also, this film is being advertised as like a colorful, saturated film on these online websites where it's being sold for 17 euros, which, I mean, if this is supposed to be colorful, then I don't know. The GT24 film seems to be less sharp on many of the pictures. Also, there is some weird stuff going on with like weird spots on the film and damage to the film and weird artifacts. And I shot this film in my Canon AE-1, which is the best film camera I own, and I usually never have problems like that with that camera, so I do think that many of these weird spots and light leaks looking stuff is down to the actual film. So it's gonna sound like I'm hating on the GT24 film, which I kind of am. I don't really like the pictures I've taken with it, and I would never shoot this film again for its look. But as I said, I did pay 6 euros for this film, which is very cheap. So if I saw an offer like that again, I do think I would be down to shoot again just because of how cheap it is, but I would never pay 17 or even 19 euros for it. I don't think the film is worth that much. But let me know, have you ever tried the GT24 film? Did you like it? Would you be down to try it if you haven't tried it yet? What do you think about it? What do you think it might be? Just if you have any thoughts, then let me know. And I'm going to have my outro screen up here with more film photography content. I'm going to have the video about the Aquaphoto Color 400 film up here, which is also speculated to be very similar to the two films I've shot in this video. At least I think it is. And down here I'm just going to have my entire film photography playlist in case you want to see more film photography content. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to see you hopefully within the next 2 weeks. You can see the mess, so I don't know how long it's gonna take me to make another video, but if I do make one, it's gonna be cool, so subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Goodbye.